What is up, guys? Alright, so we're going to do Uther now, and Uther has a heavy place on my heart because he is one of my, I think he is my most played hero. If many of you know, when I was playing on C9 Maelstrom, I played Brightwing and Uther probably 95% of our matches, so those are two heroes that I'm very, very experienced in. So let's talk about the new Uther, right? So he got a lot of changes, but a lot of his core kit is the way that you talent is going to stay the same. So let me go over this stuff, right? So level 1, block is the new added skill, which is a nice tank skill. I guess they want Uther to be a semi-warrior paladin now. I don't know, tank paladin. Fist of Justice. I don't remember if they buffed the reach from 20%, I think, to 40% because they nerfed the range on Q and W, so that's why they made that so much more. And then Conjurer's Pursuit, okay, which was the go-to almost all the time, right? So let's talk about level 1 talents. Conjurer's Pursuit is still going to be my go-to every single game because Uther needs mana. Like he has bad mana regen, and later on in the game, even early game, just getting these Conjurer's Pursuit stacks. Not only do they stack all game, like you will never have mana problems late game if you have good stacks. So I don't see how any of these are going to be useful compared to Conjurer's Pursuit. And also the fact that I feel like you're going to be seeing Uther in a lot of more double, triple support team comps that are going to be more about outlasting the other team. I don't think you're going to be seeing any three of these, right? Because Conjurer's Pursuit is what lets you have that crazy mana to just do whatever you want, like spam your skills as much as you want. So Conjurer's Pursuit is what is my go-to 100% of the time. Level 4. So they added some stuff here. Amplified Healing is the big ad, the new ad, right? Everyone knows what Amplified Healing does. It makes all your regeneration and healing 30% better. So that's like whether you hit your moon well, whether you're just your base, your base HP regen heals from anything, it'll heal 30% more and faster, or 30% more. So Protective Shield was the 100% go-to on Uther all the time, right? Amplified Healing has its place now. If you're playing in like a heavy like heal comp, Amplified Healing actually can work. It honestly could work because 30% is not a number to be laughed at. Like it is really big, right? So if you feel like you need to be healed, like if you're going to be getting healed a shit ton, then Amplified Healing can be worth it. I still don't know like if it's going to be like, you have to look at the scaling on Protective Shield. Like it's 185 damage at level 1. I don't know off the top of my head how much it scales, but it scales pretty well. So I don't know if the healing, you have to think about it like if someone's getting burst, if like someone on your team is getting burst, you're going to want Protective Shield. If you're the one getting burst and your team can heal you more, like if you're in a double healer comp or something like that, Amplified Healing might be the way to go. I'm going to have to test it out, but these are the two viable traits right here for sure. So I would stick with these two. Level 7. So they added some cool stuff here. Cleanse is obviously the go-to almost all the time. Clairvoyance is very... I used Clairvoyance back when when Nova was really strong. I never really needed to use it against Zeratul. So Holy Fire is like, it's sort of just an AoE damage. I don't think you should ever get this, like honestly. This is kind of nice. It has a 2-second 30% slow, which is actually, it's kind of good. Each hero healed by a Holy Radiance returns 10 mana. Oh, this is the old school, but you never get that. So honestly, if you don't need Cleanse, I think Burden of Guilt or Holy Fire are going to be what you want to go for. I honestly don't. I have to look like I have to go look at other people's, like, for example, like Illidan's Immolation and check the numbers compared to Holy Fire to even see if these numbers are worth getting. But Burden of Guilt seems quite good. Like 2 seconds of a slow is still it makes your 1 second stun turn into 3 second CC, which is actually really nice. So like if I didn't go Cleanse, I'd probably go for Burden of Guilt. But I'm gonna go Cleanse almost every game because something needs to be cleansed usually. Level 10, so Divine Shield and Divine Storm. They nerfed the cooldown on Divine Shield and they made the level 20 better. So I think you might actually see some Divine Shield comps. Like, don't mark my words, but if I was playing, if I was still playing competitively at the moment, I'd be trying to mess around with some Divine Shield comps because I think it could be really viable. Divine Storm is like, I think it got nerfed a little bit in the cooldown. I'm not 100% sure, but Divine Storm's Divine Storm. That skill's going to always be amazing, so this is going to be your go-to almost every game. Level 13. So, okay, this is the big one. They took away Sprint, right? That's your... Sprint was the bread and butter for me. I almost went Sprint every game, like almost every single game. So, let's look what they got. Holy Shock. That's like a troll spell, like honestly. Spell Shield. I don't see the point why you'd ever need Spell Shield because you can prevent so much more damage with Shrink Ray than you will on yourself. Shrink Ray prevents damage from anyone on your team that's getting targeted. Spell Shield only prevents damage for you. So, Blessed Champion. This is the new skill that he got. And what it does is after you use your Holy Light, your next basic attack heals nearby allied heroes for 30% of the healing amount. Which is quite decent because if you do the math, even though it doesn't heal yourself, it'll heal for 100, like 30 times 4 is 120%. So it's like you're almost getting like 2x. You're getting a little bit more than 2x off your Q, right? If you auto attack right away. But from what I've heard, the AoE radius of the Blessed Champion is very small, which means this is not going to be... It's not going to be very viable. Unless you're on maybe like a triple or quadruple melee team, it's not going to be very viable. So Shrink Ray is probably going to be your go-to almost every game. Shrink Ray, right? Like, it's Exhaust from League of Legends pretty much. 50% damage, 50% movement speed. It's a really good spell. Alright, level 16. Now, this is where they added Benediction. It's a 10-second rewind for your basic abilities, right? So... reduce the mana cost, that doesn't really fucking matter, right? But the cooldown for 10 seconds, that's really nice. So, pretty much now, you have to make a hard choice, right? Gathering Radiance is horrible. Don't ever get this. These two are what I used to get, Hardened Focus or Imposing Presence. Depending on the team comp and what we're playing against and what I'm doing, I would always, like, decide if I needed Hardened Focus or Imposing Presence. They're both very strong, depending on what team comp you're playing against and what team comp you have on your team. Like, for example, if we were playing against someone like a Zeratul that would poke a lot, I would usually end up getting Hardened Focus if I was the only healer, because double healer wasn't a meta back then, so like I'd end up getting Hardened Focus just so I could out-heal his poke very easily. And Imposing Presence, once Imposing Presence came out in Uther, like, I was one of the first Uthers, I think, to actually start taking it a lot, and it's 50% attack speed reduction. That is it's so ridiculous. Like, I don't understand why that number is still so high. They need to nerf it to like 35% and it would still be really good. So, like, it's 50% attack speed. That's ridiculous. Like, and then, okay, so Benediction. It's pretty much a rewind on your stun, and your W and your Q are not rewind fully, but they're... I think you can get... If you chain the stuns correctly, you can get 2 Ws off. And if you ult, you definitely can get 2 Ws off and 2 Es off. So it won't make your Q... You won't be able to get 2 Qs off instantly, though. So just think about that when you have it. It's not a true rewind in that sense. It's just... It only rewinds it only does 10 seconds, not a full rewind like the actual spell rewind. So just think about that. So let's talk about when you take what, right? Hardened Focus. This is pretty fucking simple, right? If you need to heal more, and if you need to heal more, and you need to stun more, that's when you take Hardened Focus. And obviously, you need to be above 80% life. So if you're not above 80% life in these fights, maybe you shouldn't take it. Think about that, right? Imposing Presence. Does the enemy team have Illidan, Sergeant Hammer, like shit like that? Vala, you know, that's Imposing Presence. It's a pretty like brain dead, you know, if they have a lot of auto attackers or their threats are auto attackers, Imposing Presence. Now Benediction. I actually think Benediction is really fucking good because, like, against, like, imagine like you're like trying to like chain stun someone like Illidan and you have Tyrande on your team, right? You could just like by himself, Uther has, with that's his stun's 1 second and his ult's 1.5 seconds. So just doing 2 stuns in your ult, that's 3.5 second of cooldown. Like a 3.5 second stun, chain stun. Like that is fucking ridiculous for someone that doesn't have Relentless, right? Like just imagine like Illidan goes in the fight and you just chain stun him by 3.5 seconds. Just think about how long that is really quick. By yourself. And then anyone else that chain stuns is added to that, right? So like I think Uther Tyrande is just going to be ridiculous. Like honestly, I think this is so strong if it can be used correctly, because just having, it's the same reason why they took rewind off of him before when he used to have it, because the double stun was just the stun lockdown is just ridiculous on him. So I actually like that they put this here because it's not as overpowered as rewind, and he still has other good options in this trait. So, but in all honesty, the fact that this gives 10 seconds off your cooldowns, I don't really think you're ever going to get hardened focus anymore now that I think about it. I'm always thinking about, oh, this is for stun, double stun, but it does take 10 seconds off your Q and your W, which is a lot more than 50% regen, right? So I'd say Imposing Presence and Benediction are going to be your go-tos right here. Now level 20. So Divine Hurricane was almost all the time, right? Almost 100% of the time people would take this. Storm Shield, I would actually take Storm Shield sometimes, depending on what team comp we're playing against and if I needed the range on the Hurricane before. This was of course after Resurgence got moved, because when there was Resurgence I took it 100% of the time because it was OP. Now, what is Redemption? Return to 50% of your max HP at your spirit's location. This effect has a 3-minute cooldown. This is like a fucking... This is like a GA with 50% of your health. It doesn't say how much mana you get back, though, so I'm kind of curious about that. But as long as you don't return no, honestly, even if you did return this would still be fucking amazing. This is like legit a GA. Like, you get to use your spirit form and then get res. Like, this is so fucking good. You will never take Divine Hurricane ever again over Redemption. Take Redemption 100% of the time. This skill is fucking OP. Just reading this shit, it's OP. Take it all the time. Okay? So let's go over this again. Level 1, Conjurer's Pursuit. Level 4, Protector Shield. Level 7, Cleanse. Level 10, Divine Storm. Level 13, Shrink Ray. Level 16, Benediction. Level 20, Redemption. And that's my standard build. That's not what I'm going to be going every game. You know what I'm saying? You need to learn what you want to do, and then you'll get smart enough to where you'll be like, okay, I need this certain talent in this situation against this team comp. And when you finally start thinking like that, and you can think for yourself instead of like just following, you know, charts that say, oh, X is the best build, right? That's when you're going to get better yourself, and that's when you're going to improve as a player. So hopefully this helps out. I'm glad to do it. I haven't thought of what the next hero I'm going to do is. Probably, I'm thinking of doing Jaina or something, because I really love Jaina right now, so I might do her next. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. Subscribe to my YouTube, and I will be putting out more. Peace, guys.